Hey, good to see you.
You too. How are you doing?
Great to see you guys. Congratulations to you. It's an honor. I'm so happy to have both of you together because I've always wanted to talk process about this stuff. So thank you guys so much for your time today.
Thanks
Colin,
for
I will
having us.
say to you, I find this really interesting. And I obviously Oswald and Penguin, they're the same, but there's also, I would argue, an emotional divide between what they are. And like
Right.
when Oswald goes home to visit his mom, those are very vulnerable moments, but the little things like the air freshener, the slushy he's drinking, the mixed
Yeah.
color slushy. Those are all funny little things. And I'm just curious emotionally where you see the divide between Oswald and Penguin. I'm just curious how you perceive that difference.
I think we've all observed it, whether it's in the success of a music career or the success of an athlete. If you dream about something and want something so much, and you put so much energy and so much focus and so much deep desire and need into that vision, and you realize it, be careful.
Hmm.
It's informed by so many things that have brought it into being, but it's also informed by pain. Somewhere along that journey, there's a pain or there's a need to prove worth or something. So if you get that golden chalice, just be careful. And we could both come up with names. We could all come up with names where we've seen success stories and then it go to shit. Um, for Oz, that's what happens to him. He has lived his life, I suppose, fundamentally with the need for one thing more than anything else, and that is the love of his mother. But he's never fully felt like it's been there. And I knew with what Lauren was going to create with this that we could delve into his past and we could delve into the minutia of his psychological kind of crumbling to the point where by the end he's kind of calcified as a psychopath. He really is. It's kind of there's a certain point in the show where I think there's no turning back from. But but he's also childish. There are childish references, the air freshener, certain kind of little one-liners and jokes that he has and things that he laughs at are rather childish. So he's an amalgam of all these different stages of his development that are caught in time, particularly because of one event that takes place in his childhood, which is revealed in the show, I think in whatever episode it is, 7. But yeah, it was just complex. He's just a really, really complex character. The Penguin is something that is always used disparagingly. It's not something that he is into the idea of. It's not a moniker that he's proud of. It refers to his gait, which refers to his physical anomaly that he was born with. And that's something that's always kept him outside of experience. It's been something that has resulted in him being bullied. He's felt other, he's felt outside.
For both of you, I want to talk process because I've always found this interesting. Mike, your work over the years has been absolutely brilliant, and like you have been responsible for the immersion that I feel when I watch these shows. The actor brings what they bring to the role, but then you are that extra layer that allows us to suspend our disbelief in the material. And so I just wanted to get from each of you kind of the idea of the process of becoming the character as the makeup is being put on, the prosthetics are being put on. And like during the time of that of application, from your perspective, Colin, are you slowly becoming the character? And for Mike, for you, what do you witness from the actor as the application and as the prosthetics are being created?
During that process, it's a very unique process because it's actually very physically challenging and it's very exacting, almost like you're each morning going in to do like a non-life-saving surgery, like a heart surgery or something, because the pieces are designed in such a specific way to be glued on in exactly the way they are designed and sculpted that if you're off fraction of an inch, and we've done it before where we like glued something on a little crooked or something like that, and then we find a way to fix it or make it work. It's such an exacting art. It's so custom made to Colin's face that it has to be. I mean, there's a place where I'm taking the cue of somewhere there's a little line or mark or something on Colin that I'm continuously following through into the sculpture where I'm fitting in a line that goes into a natural line. There's a nasolabial fold here around the mouth, laugh line that I'm continuously following the curve of the anatomy of his own face. So I'm really taking his face and I'm making new parts of it and I'm kind of combining it seamlessly in. And my whole team are just the greatest artists, I think, in the industry. And there's so many great artists, but my team in particular is very unique and handpicked, and very seamlessly trying to glue each side on exactly in the same place, and the nose is difficult. It's surgical. It's very surgical. So there is a moment where all the pieces are on and we're starting to paint it and glue eyebrows on, that it actually starts becoming alive. And Colin's looking in the mirror, he starts making faces and he's moving a little, and he's getting into the character more so. And it's a cool and rewarding experience to think of what it was as an idea, and then it's alive, and now we're gonna see it in this very lengthy 8-part series, and to really explore who he is and what this is. And it's just kind of like taking a ball and throwing it in the air. Matt threw the ball, and then I took it and made it go further, and Lauren took it and made it go further, and Colin made it go further, and it's become this thing now that exists. It's a home run, I think, as far as like looking at it artistically. In my experience, it's a dream home run. It's a grand slam on my end, and I think it's a cool character to explore, and I think people will appreciate what goes into all of these artists combining and working together and making a beautiful piece of art. I think it's an important thing as far as the times we're in. AI times, and things where things are made without a human touch and made without a human hand, so I think it's an important proof of that humans can come together artistically and make something beautiful.
And do you know what I loved? One of the things that I loved most was how many makeups did we do? 80 something?
I think it was like 85 or
85 makeups applications. Until the very last night, you were still all going, what about this? Do you think we should do that first? What about this? Let me try that. Oh, that's good.
Right.
Like, it was constantly an evolution, even the application, which was beautiful, because in an inadvertent way, it meant that the makeup was slightly, and you wouldn't notice. If you did, it'd be way subliminal. But the makeup was slightly different every day. Not by intent, but yes, by intent, because they were open to organically trying to constantly, as you were doing it, reinvent how you were applying it. It was beautiful, because I look different some days based on whether I get 3 hours sleep or 5 hours sleep, have 2 cups of coffee, got shit sleep, had toxic food the night before, whether I had a cheeseburger or a green salad, which is very rare. But you know what you mean? We all look slightly different, complexion even. And they would, after applying the makeup, Mike and Mike Fontaine they'd spray it. I mean, they would color it, and they'd put the pock marks in and the blemishes and all the kind of different colored lines. And that would be slightly different every day. It was perfect. It just meant for the reality of the human touch. It was really, I felt like a canvas. I mean, I was in heaven. And the 3 hours never dragged. Part of that was because we were playing 80s rock music and all sorts of, and eating donuts and shit. But and having good chats. And then I was able to drop in, as you said, and hit the script, for the last hour or two, and just get my head ready for the day. And by the time it all went on, it felt like a greater exercise of artifice to talk in my own accent than to talk as it felt like more forced for me to, it was weird. It felt more uncomfortable for me to talk like I'm talking to you now, brother, with all that shit on. Because having all that on, I was very aware of it. And one look in the mirror, I could see this thing looking back. So it had a life of its own, not like any woo-woo way, just really, it played on you.